Well, this is it, guys. It's episode 50. I feel like we've probably been teasing this for about 25 episodes now. But this is it. I can't believe we've actually made it here. And we have got maybe the best episode we've had before. We've got Dylan Westbrook here to talk to us about. He just won a really big race that's kind of special to us. And then we also have the Clarence Chronicles that we'll close the show out with. So this is going to be a show unlike you've ever seen before. And Roger and I will be back here in just a minute to kick things off.
Welcome to the Pitside Podcast, where we discuss the latest news and developments in the Coast to Coast Racing League, as well as other racing news inside and out of iRacing. Here's your host, the A-Let Outlaw, Preston Cranmer, and Roger, the Batsman, Craig.
Yep. So, like I said, we're back, episode 50, and it's been a fun ride, man. You know, we've had a lot of good episodes. I wanted to kind of kick this off and see if and I'm hoping I'm not putting you on the spot too much because you didn't know I was going to ask you this. But do you have a favorite episode? Not tonight's not included.
Oh, geez, I would have had to go back and look. We've had some awesome episodes, you know. Well, Dylan Westbrook, I always enjoy talking to Dylan, and it's always a great interview. There's the one that just strikes in my mind, Derek Miller. That was a real good. That was a fun one. But we've had some great people on, and we've had a lot of laughs with a bunch of people, and it's been a fun time, man. I mean, I just enjoy doing these.
It has, and that's my favorite part is we get down here and we goof around. You're going to hear a lot of that later, especially with Steve Bixler. It's fun to just goof off. I will tell you though, outside of that, I mean, just even including that, but my favorite episode, hands down, was when we had Grady Chandler on. That was just such an incredible. We need to get back in touch with him because I know he's making progress and things are going really, or better for him at least. But it was just so daggone inspiring. The kid's got such a great heart and a good head on his shoulders and is an inspiration. He really is. So
totally. Yeah. And Ed Sim, that was another great one too. Where that was, those were pretty heartfelt and unbelievable. Yeah, those were probably the top two that we've had. I think, but we've had so many.
I think we've had every guest we've had has been great, but I think those two we were able to share something that everybody needed to be able to hear, not just people in our league. Like those are guys that everybody should get the chance to hear from what they've been through and the way they're working through it. So. I would agree, and that's what I was going to say. Is Ed would have been a very close second because of the same reason.
Yes.
But we've got a great interview now. So, and I'll let you talk about it a little bit because you watched the race. But Dylan Westbrook, who you've been a huge fan of for a long time, and has gotten more involved in our league. He carries the Pitside podcast logo on his car. Just won the Steve King Memorial Race. It was in Dodge City, Kansas. Is that correct?
Dodge City, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Dodge City Speedway, anyway.
So I didn't know Dylan was racing there. I'd been a little bit off the grid. We were having some illness issues and then the internet issues. It was just a chaotic week in our household. But I had caught an advertisement for the Steve King Memorial Race in Dodge City, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." I didn't know they had one specific race that they put on, and then. A little while later, you sent us the message that Dylan had won it, and I didn't even know he was racing there. And I'm like, what a connection! I mean, it's just so crazy. Dylan is just such a down to earth, and I think Steve mentioned that when we talked to him. But so are the people from the Steve King Foundation. We've had a great time working with them. They're very accessible, so it was just this kind of magic connection. But we talked to Dylan about that quite a bit. So if you'll indulge us, we're going to jump over there and talk to Dylan. Yeah,
that's the podium there, Victory Lane, and it was great. So let's go talk to Dylan.
Yeah, we'll talk to Dylan now, and then Roger and I will come back and talk a little bit more about some of the stuff going on in the league.
Okay, we are here, and I gotta say, champion the champion, two champions talking here. I got my awesome trophy here, but
Should I just see myself out?
no, you can just you can sit by. But Dylan Westbrook, our Dylan Westbrook Racing, sponsor of our Renegades division, and he did a little bit of racing on the weekend, and it was great for our league, a marriage of two of our great partners, you and the Steve King Foundation. So congratulations, man! That was an awesome race. Without seeing it, it was an awesome race.
Yeah, thank you. It was it's the only bad thing we didn't have a live feed or anything for people to watch, but it was a really good race, really cool. Like just everything they do for the racing community, also.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Steve King Foundation is just top notch, top shelf people, that's for sure, and know how to put on a show. That we've got a bit of a rough connection here. Dylan is sitting in a parking lot at the door of his trailer trying to get a signal, and it's raining outside, so that's why it's a little bit jerky. But he's down in Texas getting ready for this weekend. But let's go back to Saturday, because I have to admit, like, I just watched it on my race pass, so you're just watching timing lap by lap, see how far a gap you were in the race, and then finally, I think it was lap 23 or whatever, you passed for the lead. It was a phenomenal race. From the looks of my race pass with you and JJ Hickle, you guys, Hill's racing team just dominated that thing.
Yeah, it was a really good race. We started like first and second, so started out real good. JJ got the jump on the right off the initial start, and I ran, and it was like right behind him. We only had like a car length or two between us for pretty much the whole time. And then the off time and lap traffic, he'd pull away just a little bit, and I gained it back. But I was kind of trying to move around and try to get faster and catch up to him or get by him. So I started running the bottom a bit and started reeling him in, and finally got by him. But, it was a real good race. It was close racing the whole time too.
And you guys actually won an award for the battle y'all put on, huh?
Yeah, we got Craig Delansky gives the crowd pleaser award. It was it would have been a good race to watch the whole time. Like probably everyone watching didn't know who was going to win just because it's so close.
Well, and that's I had on my list here for you to give me a lap by lap battle here, and I think you've pretty much done that. But it takes me back to, is that thunder and lightning going on in the background?
Wind.
Just wind.
Just wind. Okay. Anyways, no, it was. It takes me back to, I guess, when it was just radio watching, or not watching, but listening to hockey games, and people would visualize what was happening. And I never did visualize the lap traffic though. That must have been just incredible with you two battling it out and getting into lap traffic.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We come up to lap traffic, and he'd go high around him. I try to low, and I mean that's kind of where it's almost better running second sometimes. Like I'd moved around. I knew, all right, if I would go to the bottom and I started gaining on a bit, that's how I knew to kind of keep on running there, and that's how I got by him. Where it kind of, if you're leading sometimes, it kind of sucks because you don't know when you move around, if you're losing ground or gaining ground or anything.
Well, and that was something I was wondering is, I was wondering, like, okay, do you have, you reeled him in a couple times. I know you're like a tenth of a second, I guess, behind him or whatever, and then you drop back a bit. But I'm wondering, did you know you had a good shot at passing him, and you just hung back a little longer so you could see what was going on, or was that intentional, or was it just it was too intense?
It was just I was wide open, trying to make as much ground as possible. Tried to time the lap cars right. I wasn't too sure if I was going to actually get by him or not, but once I found the bottom and started really hitting that smooth and getting it all figured out, that's when I really started gaining on him and ended up getting by him.
Yeah, it was. I just wish there was a video out somewhere to watch that race, because it was it was just, like I say, race pass was exciting to watch it on. So it was great, and I think the biggest part of that victory, there was all the champagne and all that stuff and everything else going on, and Steve King Memorial. But the biggest part of that victory it was your grandpa's 80th birthday.
Yeah, that was real cool to win that on his 80th birthday. Yeah, I know he was probably excited the next day when he woke up and seen that.
Well, was he not? He was. Well, I guess he wasn't over at Dan's because there was no feed. So, but yeah, it's usually he's up until you're done, 1 or 2 in the morning, and we're chatting back and forth on the Messenger. But it was I was with your dad, and we're always comparing notes, and I get a little bit emotional at times and get pissed off at guys or whatever. But it's I think you're in that thread, so you probably see it the next day or something. But it's a great way to kind of follow, what's going on. That's for sure.
So just to rewind a little bit, I'm curious to know: do you find that you push a little bit harder when it's your teammate leading in front of you, or is it are you more comfortable sitting back and just biding your time?
Probably race just as hard. I mean,
Yeah.
always want to win, so always racing hard, but at the same time, like, yeah, I don't know, always want to win, but at the same time, like, just with it being like a teammate, just either way, it's going to be cool just if we could get 1-2 finished like we did. So
Yeah.
just really good for the team and Hills Racing and everything.
Oh, it was a great night for Hills Racing. So I got to ask you though, that he was driving. So Preston, I'm not sure if you know, but JJ Hickle is actually an opponent of Dylan's most of the time. They had a special car for him. Is that the same car like Parker Price Miller drives in the Canadian Nationals and stuff? It was the same number, so I was just wondering if it's the same car.
That one wasn't the same car. They just built that one and just put it at 67 also. But I mean, all the same, like brand chassis and everything, just wasn't the exact same car.
Yeah, well, it was fast out of the gate, that's for sure. But yeah, it was great to see the two of you. What a great race to win the Steve King Memorial. It was you finished second on Friday night, correct? And
yep.
then last night you did the deal and sealed it up. So what's next now? Tell us what's next coming down the road here.
Friday, Saturday is at Devil's Bowl back with the ASCS. There's kind of a bit of a chance of rain, and the pits there, they're real, like, you get rain like a few days before and it just holds the moisture and they're real soft. So it kind of sucks that way, so that it might get canceled, but it kind of depends how much rain we get and what day we get it. So we do have a couple other places around when we could still go race. Then after that, it's Short Track Nationals, because they rescheduled the race, and then so do that for two nights, and then start heading home.
Well, that's So that'll wrap up the season after the Short Track Nationals, correct?
Yes.
And those are both ASCS points races, are they not?
Yep.
So I know you're still sitting in fourth. You got a shot at those guys still.
Yeah, I think I'm about 90 points back from third place. So still a shot. I mean, it's going to be tough just because everyone's running so good, and but yeah, never know what crazy stuff can happen. So.
And where are the Short Track Nationals being held?
Little Rock, Arkansas, at I-30 Speedway.
Gotcha. So I know our guy on our team, Kevin Fry, the flagman, will be looking you up this coming weekend, and unofficially cheering for you, I'm sure. So that's all good. So we don't want to hold you much any longer, buddy, because I know you might be getting wet here while we're doing this. But we did want to reach out and congratulate you on that awesome victory, and just wish you nothing but the best of luck to finish this season out, and it'll be good to see you get home too. So, but now that win a few more races, that's for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully, get another win or two. That'd be nice.
It would be great. So it'd be a great way to close it out. But yeah, great win. I know Grandpa's really pumped. So just take care and good luck this weekend and the following weekend. We'll be watching. This weekend, is it on Flow?
Yep, it's back on Flow. Also Short Track Nationals too.
Okay, awesome. Okay, that's great, buddy. Thanks for coming on and taking a few minutes of your time. I appreciate that a lot. And just have a great night and stay dry. And let's hope that weather works out.
Yes, thanks for having me on.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping by, bud.
Take care, Dylan. So that was, I really appreciate Dylan doing that. I asked him if he would mind coming on, and it was just like right away, no problem. Just a very accessible guy at the track at all times, and we'll be glued to Flo, for the next 2 weeks with those big races, and again, glad to see him come home. But that for me, the racing season ends when Dylan's season ends. I mean, Dylan's the guy that pulled me into this whole dirt stuff, and he's really responsible for the whole league and everything else going on, because he was the inspiration for it. So, anyways, wish him great luck. It'll be great to see him. Hopefully, he should finish strong, and looking forward to that, and then looking forward to seeing him when he gets home.
And we should give him a hats off, too, for the amount of effort he put in just to be on the podcast tonight, because he actually had to open up his hauler to get a cell signal, and when he did, it was raining a little bit, so he half stood out in the rain throughout the interview. So he went the extra mile for us this week, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't think I do that for you,
No.
Talk to you, so
it's good on that's reciprocal, so don't worry about it. So we've got some. Oh yeah, go ahead. I know you want to show it off.
It was already in the interview, but hey, is that a beauty or is that a beauty?
Can you tilt it the other way too and show? Yeah. So that when you sent me the picture of it, that was the part that blew me away with our cart logo on there. It's super cool. It was a great touch. I love the stand-up trophies like that too.
Oh, yeah.
They just look great.
It's just awesome, buddy. I'm telling you, I'm so happy. I never ever thought I'd get one of those, and I never will get another one. But it was just Andy. I can't say enough about Andy. There's 15 of those or 17 of those every season. And he had all these technical problems over the summer with I think his the laser burner went out. He had to get another one from China, and then there's some other technical problem he ran into, and he's apologizing all the time. I said, don't worry about it. Like, everybody appreciates what you're doing. No, not once did anybody complain or like, where's my trophy? I think everybody really appreciates the effort he does. And it certainly makes our league special, with everything he does to support it with all those trophies and stuff. So
For sure.
It's been, but I'm in a happy place right now.
I got to get me one of those things. This is not the way I expected this to happen. So I got to get mine.
Yeah, am I the? No, I think Shorty's won one before. I'm not sure. Has anybody on? Landis won, but that was before the trophies. That was the very first season.
That was the very first season, and you might be able to make the case then it was a little bit easier to win then. I won't tell Terry. I'm sure he's watching, but
he'd argue. Mine was a matinee series, so
No, I mean what he won then is much easier to win then than it would be now.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I'm working on mine. I got my sights set on Topless Tuesday, but didn't go so well this week. So we'll have to hope it's a drop week.
Yeah. Well, I tried to stay out of your guys' way anyway, so I think I did that for the most part. But and then so you've got a big event coming up here. It's behind you. Your project you're working on. Yeah.
So we got the new motor in for the cart today actually, and it bolted right on. I was pretty pleased. The motor mount from the previous one, everything fit great. The only problem I'm having is the top plate for the throttle linkages is it's a lot more simple than what was there, before I pulled the fuel tank off, and so I'm trying to work out all the geometry, and I haven't quite figured that out yet. But things are really progressing. I've locked up a couple of sponsors, so I'm just going to shout them out there as a shameless self-promotion. But
go for it.
Legend Brewing in Richmond, Virginia, is sponsoring me, as well as Roma's Italian Restaurant, which is a local restaurant. So they've both contributed a little bit and put me down the road and able to get me started. So initially my goal had been, when I was looking at getting into this, I was going to start next season, but it looks like I'll be able to have a couple of shakedown races at the end of this season, thanks to them. I mean, it wouldn't have happened otherwise, and so still soliciting a few more sponsors. Need to get the cart wrapped up and everything, but it's going well. So I'm encouraged. I feel like I've got the time, still got time to work with. So that will probably quickly evaporate, but we'll see.
And speaking of sponsors, I think it'd be a good time to point out that we want to welcome back SBGC 3D Printing. Tom Taylor, even though he's out sailing on a boat somewhere, he's going to be the title sponsor for Thursday Night Thunder. So that was great. And then we just got to, finish a deal with Malcolm's Mills Millwrighting, who's been with us since day one. And they will be the title sponsor for the Outlaws division on Monday night. So it's Malcolm's Mills Millwrighting Monday Night Madness with Marty, Zacala. So it's a mouthful, but that's great. And you don't know this one yet, but Joe Canellis with Wide World of Sport podcast is coming on board as well. So can't thank all of our sponsors enough. We just, I look at the screen rolling or the script when all the credits and all the sponsors we have. It's just a little overwhelming at times. It's just it's great to see all the support we get, and that's how we put all those broadcasts on. So we couldn't do it without any of that support. So just a tip of the hat to everybody out there.
Yep.
And speaking of we weren't speaking of Wednesday nights, but speaking of this coming Wednesday night,
good segue, Roger.
Yeah, it's we got the 75 lap enduro. I got to get the old beer can out, and we'll give her a go and see how we can do with that 75 lap enduro. That's always a good time. Everybody gets their frustrations out.
That'll be a good show at Eldora too. I think the track will suit that event quite well because the walls are pretty unforgiving there, and they're all the way around the track. So I think it'll be very different than last season when we were at Lernerville. So it'll be a different show for sure. It
will be a different show. And just keep rolling along here. I wanted to talk about the Piston Cup Series, the Saturday series. So we're really encouraging people to come out. It's a great venue. It's all super speedways. Even guys like me and the G-Man, we can be contending at the end of the race. It's a lot of strategy, and but we've been hurting on numbers a little bit. We've been getting low, and so we're getting to the point. It's not fun to be running around sometimes sort of middle of the pack, or not middle of the pack, but you've lost the pack and you're driving around yourself. So a few weeks ago, we brought on the iRacing came out, and their bots or their AI cars can run now in sessions. So we've been adding them. We've had a few issues, but most of the issues have been human. Guys don't like to admit it, but when we go back and look at the reviews. But anyways, we've got Lance Ripka and also Dan Blau have stepped up. Lance will be admitting that every month he's away for the National Guard, and Dan Blau will be stepping in for that. But we've had so actually I think you ran into
I was just getting ready to tell you. So yeah. I've been working on iRacing League Manager in the back end a little bit because we've had to, because of some of the stuff we've got going on, there's guys that need to be removed from the points. Yeah. So I was running a search actually, and I'll just put the name out there. So Francis Major was one of the guys that had to be removed from our statistics because he's no longer in the league. And so I went in there and I was running a search, and I searched for Major, and I didn't run into anything except for one result from this past Saturday. And I was thinking, man, I really thought he'd left the league. I'm going to have to ask them about this. And so I went in and I'm looking at the results, and it wasn't Francis Major. It was TJ Majors. So I'm looking at these results, and I'm thinking, all these guys ran this race last Saturday, and nobody said a word that TJ Majors showed up and ran a race in our league. I'm like, this is huge. If you're not familiar with TJ Majors, he's huge into iRacing, but he's also Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s, or he was Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s spotter. I think when he still runs races now, it's still TJ that spots for him.
Yeah, he spots for Haley Deegan, too, in the pickups.
Gotcha, I didn't know that. So I'm in our executive, we have a Facebook thread where we kind of communicate, and I have typed a message out, how could you guys not tell me that TJ Majors ran a race? And I was seconds away from hitting the send button, and it hit me. They added them AI cars in there, and they're just generating random names, and TJ Majors is one of them that gets generated. So I saved myself. I'm telling on myself now, but I kind of wish I'd sent it because we would have all gotten a laugh out of it. But I was convinced. I was very convinced there for a little bit that TJ Majors was in the league.
And actually, Dale Earnhart was racing on Saturday too, but he got DQ'd because he was too aggressive, and he was running. He runs faster than most of the other ones, so he was. But the main thing was he was just driving too aggressively. So what the issues we've had is every driver has like 6 different. Every AI character has 6 different characteristics, like aggressiveness, their age. So if they're older, their reactions aren't as good, and awareness of people around them and all that sort of stuff. So, anyways, what we've decided to do is Lance and Dan have volunteered to do this, and it's very cool. We're going to try to, they're going to try to like hone down, figure out just the right skill sets so that they'll be competitive in our division, but they're not going to cause issues.
Right.
So they're not going to be too aggressive, but they're going to be, and we'll make them pretty much all even. And what they're going to do is they're going to assign all NASCAR drivers to those, and they've gone to trading paints. So those guys will be running their paint. So I don't know. It could be Dale Jr. It could be. I'm hoping one's going to be Kyle Larson. There could be Kyle. Help me here.
I'm just saying, don't put Kevin Harvick out there because you'll definitely have issues.
Exactly. So it'll be interesting to see who shows up. It's going to be kind of cool. You're racing these guys. They'll have their car colors. So they're putting a lot of work and effort into this. So, but at the same time, what we're trying to do is get like a 20 car count to make it interesting.
Yeah.
If we get, so what we've got, I think what we're going to do is add 10. If we get 15 guys, we'll only take 5 AI guys. So it's like, I mean, ideally we don't have the AI, but they're kind of fillers, but like competitive fillers, mm-hmm. And the other nice thing is, once they fine tune them, if you're on, you've lost the pack and all that, if one of these guys is around, you should be able to draft them and, pick up, not lose ground on the pack.
Yeah, or wreck them and bring out a yellow flag.
Or brag them and bring out. I never thought about that.
That's not allowed. I'm just kidding.
We'll have to watch for that one now. But so anyways, kudos to those guys for stepping up and doing this. We're hoping they can pull it off. There's a couple of issues. They're really bad on the starts, and what we did is there's a box you can tick off that says avoid humans at all costs. So we think that might be causing part of it.
Is that word for word? Is that really what it says?
Yes, avoid humans at all costs.
That's funny.
So what happens on the start, I think, is if somebody just kind of, a bit of an accordion, somebody slows down a bit, they jam on the brakes, and guys have been running into them. That's been the biggest issue with the AI guys. So I think we're going to turn that off. So don't avoid humans at all costs. And the other thing we're going to do is maybe just give them all EOLs every restart, so they're not. But like, the whole pit strategies and stuff, they're there. They could end up high in the standings. So we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be an interesting project.
So
sure.
I'm asking a question that I hope you have an answer to, but I'm assuming when you're DQing the guys, it's after qualifying and you just DQ the 5 slowest or however many.
Well, we did, but then during the race, I think we let them all run to start. But then there was a couple of incidents and stuff, and the guys were saying, like, Earnhardt's up here and he's running, like, he's running 3 wide and lap 1 type thing. You know what I mean? Like, stuff that, or going into a corner harder than normal. And it's disrupting. What happens then is the humans start to, make errors. So it's human error, but sometimes it's caused by the bot because of their aggressive driving style.
Yeah. So
we DQ'd Earnhardt, kicked him out. So it was, but anyway, and then we had a long discussion after the race about how we can fine tune this and.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's going to be a few weeks at least.
Yes.
Where this is getting fine tuned, and it is. Saturday's intended to be for fun as much as it is for points. So you just keep that in mind. Those guys are working hard to get this figured out, and there's going to be an issue here or there, no doubt. And it's just we have to react to it and learn from it. That's the best we can do.
Yeah. The best solution is we get 20 guys out every Saturday. We don't even have to worry about the box situation.
Very true.
Anyways, so
Yeah, and so just I wanted to mention on the heels of this that just like Dan and Lance have stepped up to admin, we do still have a few spots. I don't know what they are, but I'm gonna have Joe Halter get the kind of the list together, and we're gonna put out a post. Probably Monday or Tuesday, just reminding everybody what we need. There's been a few spots that have been filled. I think we mentioned, obviously, Lance and Dan, but the Tuesday night slot's been filled. And if you weren't aware, Rustlers has been merged back into Raiders to try to get the car counts back up. There were a few adjustments in the rosters made to balance things out. And so that obviously that eliminates a spot that would need to be filled. I think that was filled already. But just keep that in mind. I think like what Lance and Dan are doing and what John Hine and I are doing is a good way to do it. So if you know somebody that might be willing to do it too, see if they'll split it with you, because then you don't have to do it every week. That's perfectly acceptable too. And you lighten your load, and it's just probably a better way to do it for some guys. So keep that in mind. Ask a teammate or something like that if they'll help you out.
The 360s, the 8 o'clock on Wednesdays, I know that's definitely we need somebody there. So,
and I believe we need somebody for 9 o'clock on Mondays too. Mondays are one of those ones where we prefer you're not racing, just because there's a lot of cars and there's a lot going on. But again, we have at least relaxed the rule of no driving while adminning. Again, it's preferred that you're not racing, but if you are, we'll work it out. We'll get it figured out, because we need our admin. So that's kind of what it comes down to.
Yep.
So I said during the intro that we were going to give away a T-shirt. So now is your chance. Now you want to comment. If you're listening to this on Spotify, there's a question posed that you can answer there. So if you just go answer that question, I'm not sure exactly what that question is now, but just answer it appropriately. It doesn't really matter what the answer is. So I can see that you've signed up there. Or you can comment on the YouTube channel if you're watching this. And everybody that does those two things will be entered in for a draw that we'll do on next week's episode, on episode 51, to give away that T-shirt. So we'll give everybody a little recognition there, and then give away at least one T-shirt. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, as long as we have one person watching.
I don't think we have any issue there. We're getting more popular, and we do appreciate the support. I've noticed our Spotify, I think we mentioned that again last week, but our Spotify numbers have been coming up, so we're really trying to pump that up too. So if you want to listen twice, you can always watch it on YouTube and then listen again on Spotify. But I don't know why you'd put yourself through that.
Spotify is awesome. Like when I do the driving thing, picking up vehicles and stuff, that's how I catch up on Dale Earnhardt. The what's it called? Dirty Bowl Media.
Yeah, the Dale Jr. download.
Yeah, the Dale Jr. download, and a couple other podcasts I listen to. That's how I get caught up. So it's a great way to do it, so that you don't have to be front and center to watch us. We're just background noise, and on your way to work, and take out your frustrations on us with whatever that's going on with the ride. But anyway, it's a great way to do it, as Spotify or Apple Podcast or Google Podcast. There's a bunch of them out there, but
yes,
for sure.
and feel free to pick whichever channel makes sense to you. But again, for the T-shirt giveaway, you're going to need to comment on one of those two. I don't have the ability to give you
Spotify or YouTube.
Spotify or YouTube. So if you listen on Apple Podcasts, just jump over to our YouTube channel. You can look us up. We're on C2C RN or Coast to Coast Racing Network. You can search it up that way, but you should be able to search Pitside Podcast. The only issue we have right now is all the autocorrects. Google and YouTube, they always correct us to Outside Podcast. So you might have to click the little "Did you mean" button. But you should be able to look us up that way too and comment on episode 50. To close out episode 50,
we started in Texas, and we're going to end up in
Clarence, Iowa.
So
we're going to go over to campaign headquarters and get the newest edition of the Clarence Chronicles with the mayor, Steve Bixler. So we're going to jump over and talk to him. Mayor-elect, that's right. And running for re-election, so everybody send in your mail-in ballots. Whatever we got to do to get this man re-elected, we're going to do it.
The man's getting exhausted. We're right in the heavy part of the campaign,
Yeah, you can really see it, but I'll let you guys. Let you guys make a judgment for yourself. We appreciate you guys so much. We would not have made it 50 episodes if it wasn't for everybody watching, everybody in the league, all of our sponsors. And you know what? We have a great time, and I have to thank Roger, too. He puts up with me at least once a week doing this, and this is on top of all the other stuff we fuss with one another about throughout the week. So it's been fun, and you know what? There's 50 more coming right behind this.
Yeah, can't wait for 100.
That's right. Oh, man, I don't know what we'll do for 100, but I guess we better start teasing that now.
That's for sure.
All right, guys. Well, this is Steve Bixler, and we'll see you back here next week for episode 51. Thanks a lot, guys.
Drive safe. And it's time for the Clarence Chronicles. It's a new segment we've got on our show leading up to the big election. November what, Steve?
November 2nd, we have elections here
November
in Clarence,
2nd.
Iowa.
So in case people have missed previous episodes, this is the infamous Steve Bixler, the current mayor of Clarence, Iowa. Population 935, is that about right?
Close, 950, we'll call it, yeah.
Yeah, so, I know we've kind of joked around about Clarence and all that sort of stuff, but I gotta admit to you, buddy, I am envious. I joined the Residents of Clarence Facebook chat group, legitimately as a visitor, like they know I'm not a resident, and I'm just so impressed by it. So I'm not sure, Preston, if you're aware, but there's the picture of Steve with Blake Chapman at Town Hall making the presentation of his trophies, and I posted that on the Residents of Clarence, and he got 95 likes on that post. So out of 900 people in town, he got almost probably it's over 100 now, 100 likes and a ton of comments. So what a great tight community. I know people were it's a great communication vehicle, because I know people may not have heard, but 9 cows got loose in Clarence, and they had rounded up all but 2. But then people are reporting on the Residents of Clarence that there's 2 cattle over by the water tower. And did you get those, Steve? Did you round those up?
I think we did. I think we got them all now.
Well, you're the mayor. You're supposed to be. This is like an emergency. You should be aware of all
Roger.
this stuff.
Not too hard hitting there, bud.
I got to question this though. Did they? Steve, did they or did they not get that cattle? I need to know.
I think they did. I think they ended up in a cornfield, and they found them in a cornfield, is what I heard anyway. So It was out of city limits, so then it was out of my jurisdiction.
Well, Mauer Farm Management, would he get involved in any of that, rounding up the cattle? Or,
based on the name alone, it sounds like his responsibility.
When you say Mauer Farm Management, they were probably on 3 of his farms, because he owns about half the county anyway. So
yeah,
someplace along the line, they probably ended up on part of his property.
So you would think he'd be the one catch him, especially with that farm management title. But changing the subject here, I see you are totally I'm here with the Dylan stuff, but let's see that hat. You can't see the hat now. You're gonna have to make Clarence great again. And how about the shirt, buddy?
Good.
How about the shirt?
And then we got our Clarence. It's got the state of Iowa, and it's got the star where Iowa is. There, you can see it better that way. So there you are. We're clear over on the eastern part of the state. So
that is awesome. So the one question Preston and I have had is anybody running against you? Because in fairness, we should be giving equal time. Like, is there somebody running against you?
No, I'm not even running. I did not take out papers to run for re-election, and nobody in town took out papers. So now it's coming to a write-in vote, and I've had I had 3 or 4 people today say, we're going to write you in. You're going to write you in, and so we'll see how that goes. And then at that time, I've got to make a decision whether I want to be the mayor or not the mayor. Maybe somebody else is out there that, maybe they'll write somebody else in, but we'll see how it goes. So it's I'll tell you, it is a tough job. I mean, for the little bit that it pays, you got to put a lot of time into it. So, I mean, there's parts of it I enjoyed and enjoy yet, and there's other parts that are kind of a headache. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like running a iRacing league. It's the same sort of. There's the rewards, and then there's the stuff that's not as much fun.
It's gonna just depend on what day somebody catches you on.
Yeah. Or it's like racing in the iRacing. There's some days good and some days bad.
Yeah,
we've all had them. So,
but I know we've talked in the past about some of your responsibilities. Like it's extensive. Like to the point where you said, I think the one policeman in town had left. And you had to go and drive the cop car around every so often to make sure the battery didn't go dead.
Yeah, I figured out how to run the lights and the sirens and stuff while I was charging the battery. So, I did, and everybody in town at that time pretty much knew that we did not have a current police in town. So then they'd see the car driving around, and then, it'd go, well, who's the new police in town? Who's the new police? And, I just drove around and keep the battery charged up. So
it'd probably pay better than the mayor's job, though,
It paid about the same. That's about I just driving around. So, yeah, and I, like you said, like today, I spent a few hours, helping mow the city park. We got rain coming in and we wanted to get city park mowed. So I helped with that, and then I had had a couple phone calls I had to make today, and that's just the way it goes. It's an average day, and I still, there's times I'll jump on the back of the garbage truck and throw garbage or recycles or whatever, just whatever they need done, so.
So picking up people's garbage, is that kind of the equivalent of kissing babies? I mean, where you just...
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, Roger, but it's not a lot of fun, but it's got to be done. If we only have 2 city guys. See, that's all we got. And if one of them's sick, somebody's got to step up. So,
well,
that's where.
So, and I said this on the residents of Clarence Facebook chat that it is on my bucket list. Like, it is a place I got to get to. It's one of my 50 things to do before I die is to get to Clarence, Iowa, and I mean that sincerely. So hopefully there will be a friendly mayor there to greet me when I come to town.
Well, you, of course, you'd have to let us know when you're coming, and I don't know if we'd have a parade to have the cop lead you into town or whatever, But a special guest like you, we would. And even the 8 and Outlaw there, if he came to town, he hasn't said it's on his bucket list yet.
No, I know.
Well, I don't have a bucket list yet.
No, you gotta have a bucket list. Everybody needs a bucket list, man. And
So I just want to point out, and I'm doing some campaigning for you at this point, but I live in a town that's about 10 times the size, if I had to guess. I don't know the exact population. And we have a board of supervisors instead of a mayor. So there's 5 of them, and I can guarantee not one of them would collect trash even if it was a necessity. So hats off to you, at least for that, for doing what's required.
Oh, like I said, I've done about everything that. How do I say this? I've done probably more than I probably should have done, But it's just a deal. Things got to get done,
That's right.
So if you don't pick up the garbage, it's still going to be on the curb.
That's
so,
right.
That's why I'm not too good to jump on the back of that garbage truck and give them a hand once in a while.
Well, I am going to make it to Clarence, Iowa at some point because I need Blake Chapman to give me an iRacing lesson. So I'll be there at some point.
Well, Blake has been up to my place, and he's given me iRacing lessons, and I don't think any of them sunk in because I still can't drive the way he does, and he runs my rig, and
nobody can drive like he does.
And this is something here too. you talk about that. Just a week ago, he was up at Steve Mauer's and kind of giving Steve some lessons. Not that he needed them, of course, but
No.
He kind of give him a hand and give him some ideas and stuff. So, we just help each other. I mean, we all get along here. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
So the other big question is, it'll be past by the time this is put out, but it's Father-Son night coming up on Wednesday. Will Cale be able to run that?
I talked to him today, and it'd be 3:00 in the morning there in Grafenwehr, Germany, where he's stationed. And he says, I don't think so. He says that's if it was on like a Friday or a Saturday or something where, but he says it's just, he puts in too long a days, and he says it just, the time difference just doesn't work out. So,
yeah, that's too bad, man, because I was looking forward to seeing you battle it out with the Cranmers out there, and
Well, we're gonna
for real estate.
The Cranmers are going to be battling each other. I have a feeling if the last event was any
that's what happened last time. So
well, you got to remember there, Preston. I mean, Thanksgiving. Well, no, you had Thanksgiving. That was in. Yeah, you'll have Thanksgiving. You want to make sure that you have a good showing. I mean, you guys all sitting around the dinner table there at Thanksgiving, and you take the old man out. I mean, it might not be a good Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, there's retribution for last time, so we got to figure this out somehow.
Anyways, buddy, thanks for coming on. We just, we want to keep following your progress as this election nears, and it gets critical, and we'll be checking to find out what the hot points are, for this election, and just wish you nothing but luck.
Okay, hey, thanks a lot. We'll see how it goes. I just want to do something here. Hopefully we got enough time to do this, but you guys always ask the tough questions. Now I'm going to ask you, who's your biggest rival in racing?
Well, for me, one of my biggest rivals is you. And, no, we were fighting it out there at Williams Grove today, and going at it pretty good. And you and I are always around each other, whether it's retread stuff or, league stuff, where we always find ourselves around each other. Since like the start of the league, we've found ourselves. I used to curse this kid named Bixler. And
how about you there, Preston? Now we're turning the tables on you. Who's your biggest rival?
So I've probably answered this question a couple of times before, but I'm going to go back to the first time I answered it, and it's definitely Terry Landis, right? So he's on our team, but he and I always find ourselves on the track together. We typically run very different lines, but we are always near each other. We always laugh. We end up in the same heat race next to each other when we start. And now, all of a sudden, in the points, because we're running a lot of the same divisions this season, it's like he's got me beat by one in the Renegades. He and Jack Hitt and I were all tied for the Topless Tuesday points lead coming in tonight, Tuesday night, this past week. So it's definitely Terry. Now it's a very friendly rivalry. He's one of my best buds, but it's definitely Terry. There's no doubt.
Terry's a good driver. You can always find him on the bottom.
Yep.
One of the guys that can run that bottom is Terry. He's very good at it.
Yeah, and so we had our tribute to Davey Brown, who works for Don Kreitz on Monday. But I don't know if you've ever seen Lance DeWeese or the Kreitz guys race anywhere, but they run the bottom almost exclusively. You'll see them move up when the track dictates that they have to, but it's really funny because I raced with Terry first before I got involved with them, and then I went and watched the Kreitz guys race, and it's like watching Terry out on the track, and it's really funny how that translated from Terry's wrenching days in real life to iRacing, but he won't leave the bottom most of the time.
Yeah, he's a bottom feeder for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems, Steve, always when I'm feature time and I look either to my left or to my right, and there's Bixler sitting there. It happens. So it happened today. It
does. It happens a lot. I've noticed that too. And usually I'm right behind you. That's the problem. So
well,
just
for about 30 laps.
Just move me out of the way.
I know a guy on the review committee. Just it's fine. It's fine.
Anyways, you've had a tough act to follow because we just finished interviewing Dylan Westbrook. So, he had that big win with the Steve King Foundation. So that was two awesome
so they're
people.
in Dodge City, Kansas, and that's great because I follow Dylan, now all the time. So
yeah, he's got a big following, that's for sure. And
he does.
Yeah.
And like I said, we and you know this. I mean, we were in Knoxville, and after he'd won the feature there and went down, and Dylan is just a super guy to, down to earth type of guy that you're proud to know.
Yeah, no egos there, that's for sure. He just shows it out, his stuff on the track. So this has been a great show because we've had two great people on, and we're hoping that you can make Clarence great again. But then the question is like, why isn't Clarence great now? Isn't it? The impression I got, Clarence already is great.
We'll make it better. We're trying to make it better. Make it. There's always room for improvement, right?
Yep. Continuous improvement. Absolutely. Okay, buddy. Did you have any more questions before we leave you? Or
No. I'm gonna let Steve get back to his campaign team so they can get started making calls and stuff. So we'll go ahead and let him go for tonight.
All right. Hey guys, thanks a lot, and I just want to thank you guys for the league and the time that you guys put in, and not just you guys, all your staff that's underneath you guys. I mean, it takes a lot of time, and and not just that. It's all the sponsors too. Cool Ray and Malcolm's and Icon Sim Sports and AJ Custom Creations. All them. It takes everybody, and you guys, have to work hard to put it together. There's Roger with his AJ Custom.
There you
go. This is about the sixth time he's pulled that out on this episode.
Yeah, showing off, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
does it say participant?
I would do the same thing, Roger. I'd do the same thing.
It's the only one I'll ever get. I got to make the most of it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I wouldn't say that's right, but I mean, you might get another.
No, it's. Anyways, thanks for coming on, Stephen. We'll catch up with you later and see how the campaign's going.
Okay, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, take care, Steve. Buddy.
Okay.